Huh? What? Oh, dude! You're back! Dude, that's awesome. Okay. Stay right there. I've got episode 1 of Practicum with Flyers here. Here you go. Hello and welcome to the first video of Practicum with Flyers. Today we will go over the Zeppelin design and how it works. Make sure you like if you want the series to continue. That sounds threatening. Whatever, let's just make it to 10 likes. With that aside, let's begin. In this video, I will divide it up into 3 pieces. 1. What is it? 2. How it works. And 3. What was 3? Number 3 was playstyle, yeah. How you should play as a Zeppelin.
Yep, that's right.
The first blats that flew were probably the Zeppelins. In the old days, Robocraft SMGs had a range limit. The sky limit was much higher than it. With the introduction of plasma cannons, which did not have a range limit by the way, meant that Zeppelins could fly high above the ground bots and rain plasma shells safely out of harm's way. So, what is a Zeppelin? Zeppelins were one of the most earliest flyers to have existed in Robocraft. Boasting as the Sky Whale or the Sky Tank, they were really tough, and they were tougher than most flyers today. Because they were mostly made out of heliums, thrusters, and weapons, they became one of the most redundant flyers out there. I mean, not in numbers, but tough. Okay, redundancy is a Robocraft term, which I'll explain here. Using these parts, they functioned like helicopters do in modern Robocraft. They held an area and defended it. Although because of their tankiness, they seldomly delayed the charge as well. Alright, let's move to segment 2. How do they work? The Zeppelins used helium as their main medium of travel. Helium provides Zeppelins with their lift vector. However, this chart shows that helium cannot move on its own. So how did they move? Proper Zeppelins were fully mobile and could descend and ascend if need be. This was possible by using a technique called positional thrusters. With positional thrusters, they get the rest of their vectors of motion. This was the act of intentionally positioning thrusters in such a way so that they reorient the bot, and do not directly provide thrust to the robot. Satellites are counted as Zeppelins because they often use the same method of motion. However, some satellites utilize only one thruster. This was because they used controlled bursts of thrust at the right time. Even with rotating, by adding a forward vector, they can achieve forward momentum even with one thruster. CPU recommendation. Depending on the size of the Zeppelin, minimal CPU is needed to create one of these behemoths. The smallest of satellites uses about 30 to 50 CPU. Therefore, don't worry too much about a CPU shortage. It should only go to the helium usage rather than other components. When accounting for positional thrusters, it can be as small as tier 5 thrusters, or even as small as a tier 3 thruster, as they only need to provide a rotational movement rather than the entire mass. Part 3. Playstyle. Now don't follow these playstyles directly, but these are just guidelines and recommendations on how you should play a Zeppelin. A Zeppelin is a big balloon after all. Let it drift. In the beginning of a match, let it drift up to the top of the map and take flight. If that's too slow for you and you're itching to get right back into the battle, then add some lift thrusters to get you up there faster. Play slow! You can't escape quickly, so why push so far up? Hover over areas, and own the area. Make sure the enemies fight for the airspace though. You are the Sky Tank! Alright, here are some possible gameplay ideas for your Zeppelin. Warning. Right now, it's a good idea to load a missile launcher on your Zeppelin if you have the CPU to support it. Keeping enemies wary of your position with the lock-on will make you a target, so flying near the base shield in case of a descent due to taking damage will be an issue. Taking damage from missiles will be a huge issue as well, so be ready for them. Unlike helicopters, you will always be there as a threat or a target. There's a reason in the olden days that Zeppelins used plasma. It works. The occasional chip damage won't get you many kills. However, it will ensure a type of ward to keep flanking tanks off your and your team's keister. This is good for tower sniping, as you can pelt then detour the short tower, the tower closest to your base, and eventually cap it as well. Ultimate AA / the Pea Pelter. This is the ultimate anti-air. Not even flak or the missiles have anything on this guy. Loaded full with SMG, this behemoth can really own the air. Unlike other flyers, this can really own the airspace by shooting up the sky with SMGs. This is also a very great soft pelter to get the attention of ground tanks and keeping them off your flank. Going for short tower may be risky, however. If you know that you're a rock in the pond, the enemy has to play around you. Passive play. This approach is to assist the team, not through damage, but through healing and other means. Air superiority. It's great to own the airs, but not if you can share it. Healing your buddies who are also flyers with nanos will also make you own the air. Make sure that you have a heli medi, as this will be vital to your survivability and your friends. The goal is not to heal completely crippled flyers, that's the heli's job. Your job's to top off the ones who can't quite fly right. So, stability of flight, especially mid-flight. You are very stable, by far the most stable of flyers. Even when taking damage, the Zeppelin will stay aloft. The only thing you have to worry about is the center of thrust. Building a Zeppelin today will follow the logic of, if it's not broken, don't fix it. So, why should you consider a Zeppelin design? Why? If you really like to support the team, then that's a perfect build for you. With so many support roles, I hope Free Gem sees the potential for this. Also, Free Gem on the side note. Can you please lower the CPU cost for helium to 1 CPU? That'll be great. Thanks! Alright, so that concludes the video, and I have no idea what kind of flyer I should do next. I have so many ideas for so many different flyers, but I'm gonna leave it to you guys. Tell me, what kind of flyer do you want to know more about next? Also, hit like if you liked the video, dislike if you didn't like it, and if you really love my stuff, hit subscribe because there's more coming the way.